Yo, what is good, Knicks Nation? Welcome back to Knicks Media. This is Richie, and I want to go live today because I was unable to make a recap video for either of the Rockets or the Bulls game this past weekend. As we know, the Knicks had a back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday. We went out there and defeated the Houston Rockets on our home court, and then we lose to the Chicago Bulls last night. And I want to give you guys my overall thoughts about both games and then pivot to tomorrow's game against the LA Lakers. Again, guys, I'm sorry I was unable to give you guys my recap to each of those games, so that's why I'm live right now, so I can dissect everything that I saw from this Knicks team for the past two games and what we can expect for them tomorrow night on prime time against the Los Angeles Lakers. So if you guys are watching this live or you're watching this on replay, please make sure you smash that like button and comment down below your thoughts about what's going on with the New York Knicks. So as you guys know, the Knicks are 9-8. We're coming off a loss last night to the Chicago Bulls, a loss that I was kind of expecting, but we were very competitive and we were very close to actually beating the Chicago Bulls. So we split the series against the Bulls in Chicago. We beat them earlier on in the season, and then the Chicago Bulls got the better of us last night. So first, let's go over the Houston Rockets game on Saturday. Welcome into the channel, everybody. I see you guys in the chat. What's good, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Good to see everybody having a good day. How's everybody doing? Welcome into the stream, guys. Make sure you smash that like button for your boy. Greatly appreciate it. So we'll start off with the Knicks and Rockets recap. This was the Alec Burks show, guys. This was the Alec Burks show. But, you know, you can't really talk about this game without bringing up the fact that we struggled against the worst team in the NBA. And I was watching this game. I was not home, so I was watching on my phone throughout the entire game. And I was really worried. I was so worried that we're going to lose this game because, as we know, the game prior, we lost to the Magic on our home court, and the Magic beat us twice, and the Magic are a very bad team, but they're very young and pesky. The Houston Rockets, they're on a 13-game losing streak or something like that, heading into the Garden, and I said, this is a game where the Knicks got to get back on track, and they did a win with ease, but they did not win with ease. We had to make it a stressful game. We win this one 106-99, and thanks to Alec Burks, he absolutely took over this game, and he propelled us to win. I don't know where we would have been without Alec Burks in this one. Alec Burks led the way. He had 20 points, 6 of 7 from 3. I think he had 17 points in the fourth quarter. It was awesome to see Alec Burks do that. Mr. Clutch, whatever nickname you want to give him. All last year, we all knew that Alec Burks was a guy that always came in the fourth quarter, and it looks like Tom Thibodeau really trusts Alec Burks the most in the fourth quarter, because I think the one thing I've noticed about Tom Thibodeau last year and this season as a Knicks head coach is it doesn't really matter who starts or comes off the bench. He's going to have a unique lineup, a unique five on the court at the end of the game. He's going to feel the rhythm, who's playing well, who's not playing well, who's playing together, and that's the five that's going to be on the court for the final 6 minutes, and that's exactly what we've been seeing. And Alec Burks has been a guy that's been playing pretty much the entire fourth quarter all season long, and I'm okay with that. He's been a guy that's been doing pretty well. Still, Knicks fans, what's good, bro? What's good? Salute to the chat. Salute, Richie. Appreciate you tuning in. We got some questions. What's going on with RJ and Fournier? I'll get into all your questions later on in the stream, guys. Don't you worry. I'm going to be breaking down everything that's been going on with this Knicks team for the past couple of games. So I'm starting off with the Knicks and Rockets recap, guys. This was very scary, to say the least, that we almost lost to this team. But Alec Burks saved the day, and no one really else stepped up in this game, to be honest. You know, Julius Randle, he had a really good game last night, but in against the Rockets, he had 16 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and near triple-double for Julius Randle. Evan Fournier, this was his game where he actually got back on track. Fournier, he got fourth quarter minutes. Fournier had 19 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 5 of 10 from three-point land. That's a really good sign that Fournier is trying to get back in rhythm. I know he didn't do that well last night against the Bulls, but you know, I feel like throughout the season, we're going to see a bunch of starters having their games and other starters not having their games, and it's good to see Fournier finally getting back in rhythm because he's a big piece to the starting lineup. RJ struggled in this game, and RJ's been struggling for the past couple of games in terms of his efficiency and in terms of scoring. Last night, RJ had a really good game in terms of defense and crashing the boards, but RJ's definitely been struggling when it comes to his efficiency and scoring the ball. But against the Houston Rockets, guys, just to summarize this game in a nutshell, Alec Burks really saved us. You know, we're trying to defend home court. We're going up against one of the worst teams in the NBA in the Houston Rockets. That was a must-win, and the Knicks escaped absolute heartbreak, and we got the job done. So shout out to the Knicks for making sure that they do not lose to a Houston Rockets team that are 1-15. Scary, scary stuff. So now moving on to the game last night, guys. This was a tough game for the Knicks. We fall short. I actually had a feeling that we're going to actually escape this one with a victory, man. DeMar DeRozan is an absolute stud. He's a MVP candidate for sure. And Julius Randle got back to his all-star ways. Julius Randle finished with 34 points for the New York Knicks to lead them, and no one really else stepped up. This kind of felt like a game last year for the Knicks where Julius Randle did everything himself and no one else stepped up. And Randle finished with 34 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. A very efficient night, 13 of 19. So it's good to see Julius Randle get back on track because I know that a lot of Knicks fans are like, already turning on Julius, saying he's a bum. He was nothing where he was last year. We should trade him. We should, hand the keys to Obi Toppin. And I'm not that Knicks fan. I'm like, Julius is the heart and soul of this team. Like, without Julius Randle, I don't think Knicks fans understand that we would not be where we are today without him, especially last year. He was a second All-NBA team for a reason. He was an all-star for a reason. And he's a big reason why the Knicks were a 4th seed. The acquisition of Derrick Rose was a big reason for it last year as well. RJ Barrett in year number 2 last season was a big reason as well. But Julius Randle is the heart and soul of this team. He leads the Knicks in points, rebounds, and assists. So the fact that Julius is getting back to his all-star ways, that's really what I've been waiting for all season long. So good thing that Julius Randle is getting back on track because we need him to be dropping at least 25 a game and making sure he gets his teammates involved, not trying to do too much. And I love what I saw from Julius Randle last night. He did everything he needed to do, but unfortunately the Knicks fell short. I feel like the defense is really what's been holding this team back, especially late in the fourth quarter. The Chicago Bulls are one of the better teams in the fourth quarter in the NBA, and we were just unable to really, stop them. DeMar DeRozan got to his mid-range shot whenever he wanted to. He would cash that every single time. Lonzo Ball got cooking. Even Kobe White, we gave him way too many open threes in the fourth quarter. They went like 5. They hit 5 3-pointers in the fourth. You're not going to win with that type of mindset. And let's talk about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has definitely been struggling from the field. There's no sugarcoating that. Last night, he was 2 of 12 from the field, but he did finish with 9 points, 15 rebounds, 1 block, and a steal, and a plus-minus of a +6. So that's the one thing I like about RJ Barrett is, it seems like he's doing the dirty work right now. He knows he's in a funk. He's missing the layups. He's missing his jump shots, but at least he can impact the game everywhere else, and that's the one thing I love about RJ because he's not somebody that's a one-dimensional player that's just a scorer. That's not his game. He's an all-around NBA player. He can do a lot of things outside of scoring, like crashing the rebounds and playing really good defense. Zach LaVine did nothing last night because of RJ Barrett. So that's a good sign for RJ that he's not rattled in his head too much. I definitely need him to get out of the slump as soon as possible because I do feel like he is holding this Knicks team back, especially the starters. So RJ Barrett, he's definitely in a slump right now. Ever since that 5-game stretch he was on, phenomenal game from RJ Barrett. Those 5 games in a row, 35 points, career high, leading us to win against the Pelicans. He was averaging around 19.7 points per game at one point. His efficiency was through the roof, but now he is, trending downhill. And RJ Barrett really needs to get back into his ways of being aggressive and finishing through contact because it's really interesting because RJ is definitely a streaky player right now. He's the youngest player on the team. He's 21. I know a lot of Knicks fans are losing patience with RJ, saying like, well, he's in year number 3. He cannot be a guy that is, up and down this much in year number 3. And some people are quickly writing him off, saying he should be a trade bait. He's a good value right now. We should trade him away. And you guys know me. I'm not somebody to write somebody off over a slump. Basketball is a game of ups and downs, but at the same time, he really needs to get out of this as soon as possible because now the schedule is getting really tough and the schedule is only going to get harder and harder for the next couple of weeks. So the one thing I will say about RJ Barrett before we move on to the next topic, in my opinion, everybody's NBA career is different. If you look around the league and you see the stars around the NBA, not everybody breaks out in year 3. Not everybody breaks out in year 2. Like if you look around the league, we'll start off with our own player, Julius Randle. He really became an all-star and a breakout player in year number 7. Even look at Jimmy Butler. He was never that good until like year number 5, year number 6. There's so many players around the league where it takes them a little while for them to really break out. And I feel like what RJ Barrett is trying to do this season in particular is focus on his defense and focus on his all-around play and crashing the rebounds before the scoring. Because last year he was really efficient. He did a really good job. And I think his scoring is going to come eventually this season. He's just in a really dry patch right now. I trust his mentality. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure RJ Barrett continues to be aggressive. He continues his confidence because that's the last thing we need is RJ to lose his confidence in his shot. I feel like they're not giving him a lot of opportunities in catch and shoot like he was last year. I'd like to see him get more open looks from the corner, open looks from the wing, and continuing that ability to drive to the rim and finishing through contact because that's definitely what he's been struggling all season long. That's my thoughts about RJ Barrett. And when it comes to the game last night against the Bulls, man, we just fell short. Kemba Walker gave us good minutes in the third quarter. We were out of Mitchell Robinson and Taj Gibson, so Nerlens Noel really held his ground as much as possible. D Rose did not have his best game, which really held the bench back. Quickly, Obi did his thing for sure. And Alec Burks, he continues to be a really good player for this Knicks team. But all in all, guys, we're 9-8, and we lose to the Chicago Bulls last night. Not that good. So moving on from those guys, from the game against the Rockets and the game against the Bulls, I want to talk about one player in particular right now. Because he's slowly becoming a Knicks fan favorite. I think he's been a Knicks fan favorite for a while now, and he looks like he is breaking out, and that's Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is somebody that is it's a really interesting situation because, unfortunately for him, he has a guy in Julius Randle who's a bit above him, and it's hard for him to find minutes. He is on the verge of breaking out, and I think the only thing holding him back is minutes. I said over and over again on this channel that I think right when Obi gets his three-point jump shot to fall, that's where we're going to see a different dimension of Obi Toppin. And as of late, he's been hitting his three-point jump shots. Last night, Obi Toppin only had 13 minutes of action, but he had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and a dime with 2 blocks, 2 of 3 from downtown in 13 minutes. So it'd be really interesting to see what Obi Toppin can do if he can actually get minutes. Like, imagine he got 25 minutes per game, but it's really hard to find minutes when you do have Julius Randle on the court ahead of him. So it's really up to the Knicks coaching staff to find a way to be creative, make sure Obi Toppin can get on the court rather, because he is a guy that is a spark plug. He's getting a lot of confidence, and he's a very good player for this Knicks team coming off the bench. And I feel like this bench unit has been, the best part of this team, but the one unit that's been holding this Knicks team back, I think everybody can agree with, is the starters. So we find out that there's a report that some top Knicks starters are really frustrated and they don't really like what's happening with this Knicks team. And I can understand that. Very unfortunate. I don't know why Ian Begley from SNY even brought that up, but that's definitely something to be concerned about because the starters really need to get chemistry. And that's the one thing that they've been lacking between Kemba, Randle, Fournier, and RJ. Those 4 guys are trying to find, a really good chemistry between the 4. The center position has been, it's been a roller coaster. Taj Gibson starts, Nerlens starts, Mitch starts. No one's healthy every single game. But those 4 guys, RJ, Randle, Fournier, and Kemba, those 4 guys really need to get going. And I have confidence that they will throughout the progression of the season. At least I hope, because the bench unit has been really good all season long. And we're just waiting for that starting unit to really click all together. And we saw them click all together at the beginning of the year. RJ was playing well. Randall was playing well. Fournier and Kemba were all playing good basketball. So I think it's just a matter of time until they really start getting together, because I feel like they run the offense through Randall a lot, and that kind of ices out RJ, and then RJ has to force himself into the bucket instead of trying to, do a nice pick and roll. And then Fournier, he doesn't really get the ball in his hands a lot. Kemba doesn't as well. So it's up to the coaching staff to really make sure this Knicks team gets chemistry. And now moving on to the last topic of the stream, guys, that's tomorrow's night game. Knicks versus Lakers. This is going to be the debut of the Knicks City jerseys, the black uniforms, the new court for the Knicks. It's going to be on TNT prime time. This is going to be a big time game. The Knicks, so far, they've been pretty good against, top tier opponents. They haven't been good against the bad opponents. We beat the Bulls before. We beat the Bucks, even though the Bucks beat us again. We beat pretty good teams. So this is a big test because the LA Lakers, they're not like a powerhouse like expected. Obviously, they got a lot of players. Melo will be returning to the Garden. This is going to be a crazy game because I feel like this is a really good opportunity for the Knicks to get back on track, especially on prime time with the whole world watching. I really like that the schedule's getting tough right now because this is going to be a big test for us. I'd rather the schedule to get tough right now than it later on in the season because the Knicks are going to be going up against teams above 500 for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So it's a big test going up against the LA Lakers. The way I want to see the Knicks win this game is purely defense, man, because that's the identity. That's the backbone of this Knicks team. That's why we were the 4th seed last year, is because the New York Knicks went out there and defended in the 4th quarter, and that's what this Knicks team has been trying to do for the past couple of games. We saw it against the Indiana Pacers last week when we locked them down in the 4th quarter. They only scored 10 points in the 4th, but now ever since that game, we've been struggling in the 4th quarter defending. So tomorrow night, I want to see the Knicks come out there with vengeance. I want to see them defending well. I want to see them having continuity on offense, making sure they get everybody involved. And, it's not going to be an easy game because the The LA Lakers, they're star power. They're really old. They're veterans. They're playing well together as of late. Carmelo Anthony's probably going to have one of his best games of the year for the Lakers, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think the X factor for this game for the Knicks is definitely Julius Randle. Can he actually put the team on his back once again like he did last night? Can somebody else step up? Because Randle cannot do it all himself. We need guys off the bench to step up like they've been doing all year. We need RJ to get out of his funk. We need Kemba to hit his threes. We need Fournier to hit his threes. We need Mitch healthy. I'm not sure what's going on with Mitch. I know he's in concussion protocol, but hopefully he can get back as soon as possible. But I really feel like RJ Barrett has been playing better whenever he's with the bench. Like I've noticed RJ plays better basketball when Derrick Rose is on the court with Quickly, with Obi. And that's a really interesting conversation to have because it doesn't feel like RJ's playing well with Fournier or Kemba at all. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen as the season progresses of who's going to play in the fourth quarter, who's not. And I think the X factor for this Knicks game as well is Alec Burks, man. He's very underrated. I think Alec Burks is the most underappreciated New York Knick on the roster. He's so versatile defensively. He's so versatile offensively. He could pretty much do it all for the Knicks. He's probably Thibodeau's favorite player in terms of gadget-wise. Swiss Army knife. He can go out there, run the point. He can hit the clutch shot. He can defend well. He can drive it to the paint, finish through contact. He can be a playmaker. He can do it all. So Alec Burks, hopefully he can continue his fine play because we need a guy off the bench to continue to be a beast for the New York Knicks. So, guys, I just want to go live really quick for 20 minutes or so to give you guys my thoughts about the game against the Rockets, the game against the Bulls, and my quick little preview against the Lakers. I see everybody in the chat. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'll finish this off with a quick Q&A. If you guys want to ask me any questions, feel free to do so in the chat. So, guys, let me know what you want me to talk about in the chat, and I'll gladly try to answer as many questions as I can. So any questions regarding the Knicks, fire away in the chat, and then we'll be wrapping it up. Because, again, guys, I was unable to make a recap video for the past two games over the weekend, so I wanted to go live. I wanted to make sure that I can give you guys my thoughts about those two games because it was definitely disappointing. The performance against the Rockets, even though we won, it was a disappointing outing. And then last night, we saw Randle finally break out, finally looking like his all-star self, but other players around him did not play well at all, which did not help the Knicks get this W. Am I going to the Lakers game? No. I wish. Those tickets are way too much money. Are you saying RJ should go to the bench? I'm not saying RJ should go to the bench, but I do like RJ better with the bench unit. I feel like Thibodeau, the way he does his rotations, he's somebody that it doesn't matter who starts. It doesn't matter who's coming off the bench. In the fourth quarter, he puts the best players in the court who's playing together well. I just want to see Thibodeau kind of put RJ Barrett on the court with D. Rose, with Quickly more often because I feel like he complements their games a lot better. Hey, Richie, talk about Julius doing despite the Knicks loss. What's up, Jamal? Yeah, Julius Randle, man, he put the team on his back last night. He looked like the vintage Randle that we saw all year last year, getting to his spot mid-range. That's one thing I've been really concerned about Randle so far. He's not getting to his spots more often. He's not getting those contested mid-range fadeaways that he's so good at, and I want to see him do that more often. I also want to see his teammates set him up on the pick and roll like we saw last night. He was getting to the free throw line. He was hitting his free throws. He wasn't really relying on his three-point shot. I mean, let's see. Yeah, Randle only shot 2 3-pointers last night. He was 1 of 2. That's the Randle I know. I know that he's a good three-point shooter last year, but the Julius Randle that was phenomenal last year was a guy that would get to his spots, finish through contact, hit those contested mid-range fadeaways, and that's exactly what he did, and he did a great job last night. Hopefully this is a good sign for Randle to continue his fine play. Let's see. Free the bench. Yeah, man. I think the bench needs to get more playing time, especially Obi Toppin. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. This is a big test tomorrow night against the Lakers because I don't know, man. It's going to be a big-time play. Randle just needs to let the game come to him and not think too much. Yeah, man. That was Randle's problem in the playoffs. He overcomplicated things. He thought way too much about everything. The double teams come. He needs to get rid of the ball and not turn it over. Repeat after me. We are not a three-ball team. Stop throwing so much threes. Yeah, it's crazy because we started off the year like breaking records from downtown, and now we're kind of not really shooting the ball from three, which is interesting. Randle played great last night. Yes, he did, Gideon. Yes, he did. He took advantage of the Chicago Bulls not really having anybody to match up against him. Put some length or strength against him, and he's ass. Last year, they did that all season long, and that wasn't the case, in my opinion. I know that Randle struggled in the playoffs because they were absolutely shadowing him and triple teaming him, but it didn't really matter who guarded Randle last year. He absolutely dominated. And Randle has like 5 games this year with 30 plus. I know last night it was a mismatch all game long because there was guards on him. But Randle, I got confidence in him. I really do. I really feel like he's the guy that's going to take this Knicks team far this year. Hey, do you think Knicks finished 6th seed at the highest because they lost to the Magic twice? Not acceptable. Yeah, man, I think that losing to the Magic twice is unacceptable. I don't know where the Knicks are going to seed this year. You know, we're 9-8. We got a tough stretch of the schedule coming up, and we need a lot of players to step up in order for us to get back on track, man. We do need to limit the turnovers, Gideon. Yes, we do. Sloppy play, man. There's a lot of sloppy turnovers. Really careless with the ball. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's really unfortunate. That needs to be cleaned up, and the coaching staff needs to do a better job of like disciplining their players. And it all starts with Tom Thibodeau. Knicks already played better game in the game on both offense and defense, even lost it to the Bulls. Yeah, man, I feel like the Knicks played a good game last night. But the Bulls are just they're playing well together. You know, I think the biggest difference between the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks is chemistry. I feel like the Bulls are playing really well together. And the Knicks just simply did not defend the three-point line late in the game, and they cannot stop DeMar DeRozan. They just let him get to his mid-range shot. Too easy, man. Too easy. Too many unforced turnovers overall. Yeah, Rich, I agree. There's so many sloppy passes, cross-court, losing your dribble, forcing the ball down. It's just too many unforced turnovers. You're not going to be a good basketball team like that. So, the Knicks right now, we're 9-8. We started off 5-1, so we haven't been doing really that well ever since that stretch. We got a big-time test for the Knicks tomorrow night, and then we have to verse the Phoenix Suns. So hopefully we can get back on track and win one of these two games. It's not going to be easy going up against two Western Conference powerhouses. So I don't really know what to expect. I really don't. Has Kemba met your expectations so far? Kemba Walker, he started off the season red hot. He could not miss from three, and then he cooled off. He came back to earth. And Kemba's not really getting a lot of minutes, so it's hard to really evaluate Kemba. I feel like he's somebody that, in order for him to really cook, you need to let him cook in a way where, hand him the keys. Like, all right, Kemba, take over the game. Like, remember the first quarter against the Charlotte Hornets? Obviously, he was home, so he felt a little more sense of urgency, home in a sense of Charlotte, because that's where he really, became a star in this league. I think Kemba, it's hard for him to really find a rhythm without being a top option, and he's trying to adjust and trying to realize that he's not the number one option. He needs to, let Randle cook, let RJ, let Fournier, and let the game come to him. I feel like he's going to get better as the season goes on. Hopefully he can stay healthy for sure. More offense connection is needed between Walker and Randle. Yeah, I agree. Last night we actually saw some of it. Kemba Walker, I think, had 4 assists, and I think 3 of them went to Randle, which is a really good sign. He found Randle cutting to the basket with easy dunks, and we need that more often because Randle, obviously he's a good shooter from mid-range, but he came into this league as a bruiser down low and somebody that can just bully you in the paint, and we saw that last night and hitting those tough hook shots. So we need that to continue. Also, we need more runouts and to get RJ more fast break buckets. I agree, Gideon. I agree. Evan needs to use more mid-range shots instead of just jacking up threes. Also, he needs to attack the rack. Yeah, man. Fournier is way more just a three-point shooter. He's somebody that can put the ball on the floor, and we want to see him do more of that, 100%. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, guys. I greatly appreciate all you guys tuning in for this midday live stream. We got 17 likes with 22 you guys watching. So please, if you did not already, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate that, guys. I just want to go live today because I was unable to talk about the previous 2 games, and I want to briefly touch on the game tomorrow night. I'm considering going live for the game tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, guys, and that's really going to do it for today's stream. I want to be a quick, brief one, nothing too crazy. Talk to the chat, interact with you guys, give you guys my thoughts about the games, give you guys my thoughts about the struggles and the good things. The one thing I will say about this Knicks team is, we're deep, man. It's a team that has any given night, somebody else is going to step up. For example, Alec Burks. I don't think anybody expected him to do what he did on Saturday night. Julius Randle stepped up last night. Who's going to step up tomorrow? Because we need more than one player to step up. That's the problem. I feel like, Kemba struggles one night, RJ struggles one night, but Randle's on. Like, we need a game where everybody clicks together at the same time, because that's when this Knicks team is going to be dangerous. And I do have a lot of confidence in Coach Thibodeau to really get this team back to their roots of playing defense, because that's what it's all about. Defense. This team, the backbone, the identity is the defense, and we need to make sure we can start defending the paint, defending the three-point line with vengeance, because so far I feel like the Knicks have been lackluster on the defensive end. So, guys, that's my thoughts about this Knicks, the current state of the New York Knicks. Gideon, appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really does mean a lot that you guys continue to show your support on Knicks Media. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you're not already, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Let's go, Knicks. Let's get this dub tomorrow night.